everybody. I am Sandy Myodo Gougis with Profound Way. Thanks for joining me this morning. Um, so what's going on? Some of you are friends of mine and have known me for a while and know that I started a business. I've been doing life coaching for a while, and that's kind of morphed over the years. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing right now, and then I'm going to give you some meditation tips. So I had gotten this idea in my head that somehow it wasn't appropriate for me to teach meditation and be paid for that. And so I shifted over to manifesting. And I love manifesting. It's great. And I'm still happy to help anybody who has any questions about that. But then one day I realized, you know what? My first love is helping people learn to meditate. And when people come to me with questions, it's about 80% meditation and 20% manifesting, even now. So I'm shifting back to where my priority, my focus is in helping people meditate, whether that is starting out, building a practice, learning more advanced techniques, whatever that happens to be based on where they are on their path right now. So that's why I've started this new group and why it is a public group, because I hope that people will find it and come and learn from each other as well as from me. So that's what's going on. That's the big announcement, and I'm very excited about that. So the other thing I promised you is some meditation tips. So here we go. Why is the breath so important in meditation? Why do we have this instruction of follow the breath? What does that mean, follow the breath? Okay, let's break it down. The breath is useful for two reasons. First, because it is always in motion. And second, because it's always with us. So first, in motion. When we talk about follow the breath, what we mean is, where is the breath right now? Can you find your breath? Take a breath. As you breathe in, can you find your breath? Isn't that interesting? Where do you feel that in your body? So that's one way of using the breath as a focus for meditation. And when I say a focus, what I'm talking about is treating our conscious mind like a 2-year-old. And we need the 2-year-old to be quiet so we can work. We can't ask a 2-year-old, please be quiet. It's not going to work with any 2-year-old I have ever met, unless you happen to catch him at nap time. So what we can do instead is give the 2-year-old a toy. Here, can you go play with this, please? Can you go color on this coloring book, please? And give them something to do very gently as a request. And then hopefully they'll do that for a little bit. That's how we treat our minds. The toy is a focus. And in this case, the focus is our breath. So when we follow the breath, we can look at how long is the breath? How long is the inhalation? How long is the exhalation? And just watch that and see. And you can notice the pauses in the breath cycle. At the top of the breath, when you fully inhale, there's a little pause. And at the bottom of the breath, when you fully exhale, there's a little pause. The body holds the breath, and then the body suspends the breath. And this is all perfectly natural, part of the breath cycle. So as you follow the breath, you begin to notice that. And then another way you can observe your breath is, where do you feel it in your body? Most commonly, we think about feeling it in the chest as that rises and falls. Sometimes we think about it in the abdomen as that expands and contracts. And that's all the motion of this large diaphragm muscle in there. But we can also experience the breath by feeling the passage of the air in different places. You can feel the passage of the air on the back of your throat. It can kind of feel a little dry sometimes if you've been breathing, especially in the winter when the heat's on. You can feel that passage as the throat dries out and the air is going by. Sometimes you can feel the passage of the air in the nostrils. We have all these tiny little hairs in there to filter out large particles as we're breathing. And those little hairs sway in our breath like summer grasses in a gentle breeze. And you can tune into that and feel that. You can feel the temperature difference in the nostrils as cool air comes in and warm air comes out. Usually room temperature is around 72 to 75 degrees. Breathe that in. It warms up in your body, which is 98.6 degrees, and you breathe that back out. So you're going to feel that 20-degree temperature difference if you tune into it. And sometimes you can feel the breath on the upper lip as you're breathing out, particularly sometimes in. So there's a lot of different opportunities to notice the breath as it's moving. And a moving focus is far easier to tune into than a stationary one. Think about it. If you're using a candle as a meditation focus, you light the candle and you watch the flame because the flame's going to move even if it's just a little bitty bit. Staring at something that is perfectly still doesn't give that 2-year-old enough to grab its attention. So we need to give it something that's moving, especially in the early days of a meditation practice, but really all of our lives. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's a great practice to just observe the breath and watch the motion. So that was the first reason the breath is so helpful, because it's always in motion. The second reason is because it's always with us. It's something we carry with us. We don't need special meditation supplies. You don't have to have a particular type of mat or cushion. You don't have to wear a specific garment or have a shawl. You don't have to light incense or a candle. You don't have to play meditation music. You don't have to turn on a guided meditation to listen to. You don't have to be in a particular body posture. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha recommended sitting, standing, lying down, or walking. So pick one and you're fine. For years and years, I used to give the example of you can meditate while standing in line at the DMV. And then it happened to me a couple of years ago. I had made an appointment and I thought, oh, this will be a breeze, walk in, have an appointment, no problem. But it turns out that in the California DMV, if you have an appointment, you just have to stand in fewer lines. You still have to stand in line. And there's all this commotion. The lady in line in front of me has 2 children who are really unmanageable, but she's doing her best. The air conditioning is out. So they have some fans on, but it's really, really hot. There's a lot of people. Everybody's impatient. Everybody's grumpy and in a bad mood. I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people. And it was just an unpleasant situation. One of the ways we can practice mindfulness is to note our feelings towards something. Are they pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? Well, this was unpleasant. So I could have stood there grousing about, I can't believe this. I made an appointment and I still have to stand at least 2 lines and these kids are yelling and it's so hot. And I could have thought about all of that stuff. That's the 2-year-old. Or I could ask the 2-year-old, hey, look at the breath. Hey, let's watch the pretty breath go in and out. And just breathe and stand there and be rather than do. So that's what I did. I just stood in the line at the DMV and I followed my breath, and the next thing I knew, it was my turn. So there you go. So the breath is always with us, which makes it the best possible focus, because you don't have to go get anything. You don't have to set up anything. You don't have to spend so much time getting ready for meditation that you don't have time for meditation. So that's the beauty of that. So that's the advantages of working with the breath. It's always in motion and it's always with us. Oh, I hope that you will give that a try in whatever way works best for you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.